firm called ADP National Employment releases a report around this time that actually shows a preliminary look at how many jobs were created in the previous month. So we're looking at December, and according to the report, last month we had a pretty good job growth. Well, how much? According to this ADP report, companies added about 238,000 jobs. Now, this is all private sector. They also went back and revised the November numbers to 229,000 jobs. So that's not bad. According to the report, it was the largest monthly gain since November of 2012, and it actually brought a 3-month average of corporate hiring to nearly 225,000 jobs. Now, they say that this is the fastest pace in the last 21 months. Not bad. Not a bad end to 2013. It's actually one of the largest job growth months in 2013. According to chief economist at Moody's, Mark Zandi, he said, quote, job gains are broad-based across industries, most notably in construction and manufacturing. Now, that's also a really good sign. It means we're getting back to building things and making things. That's good. That's really good, actually. So if you were wondering where these jobs were created, because a lot of the jobs created in the recession or since the recession ended in the recovery have been low-wage service jobs. So it's good to see some of these higher-paying jobs return. Now he continues, we're now going to start to see an economic recovery more typical of the economic recoveries we've seen historically. It feels like the jobs market has kicked into a higher gear. Now, there's one specific factor that seems to be helping all this, and that's the U.S. trade deficit. Now, according to recent reports, the U.S. trade deficit fell to a 4-year low in November. So now we are importing less than we are exporting. And that, of course, helps a lot. If we're making more stuff here and exporting it, that helps U.S. jobs. That's actually really, really good news. Well, like I said, it's good news, but it's nowhere near enough. Now, let me explain. We actually still, up to this point, we still have not recovered the number of jobs lost during the Great Recession, during the crash of 2008. Now, there are some reports that say that if we assume that November's 1.7% rate of job growth extends into 2014, so if we continue on the rate that we've been going, America will have recovered all of the jobs that it lost since the recession by October of this year. So do you understand that? We're still way behind in job creation than we were before the recession happened. But we have a larger population. We have a lot more people out there seeking jobs. And we have still lost so many jobs during that financial crisis that we're just playing catch up. See, that's really important to remember. So it doesn't really feel like technically, according to the media, the recession is over. But just now, are we even getting close, assuming we continue on the current trend, are we even getting close to recovering all the jobs that we lost? That's a really, really sad recovery. Now, why is it so low? Well, I've got a few ideas. It's because, one reason I think is because we've been focusing so much on deficit reduction instead of focusing on creating jobs. And that's the Keynesian approach, right? You invest in infrastructure, and that helps create jobs. To me, that makes sense. And that lack of investment plus austerity, cutting government jobs, cutting government spending during this recession has made it one of the weakest recoveries we've ever had. And I think another factor that's really important to factor into this is the record numbers of income inequality. You got to remember, since 2009, 95% of all the gains, all the income gains in the recovery have gone to the top 1%. It hasn't gone to you or me. It hasn't gone to the middle class. Certainly hasn't gone to the poor. It hasn't gone to people who are going to spend it and reinvest it into the economy. And that's why we're not seeing as many jobs. Now, we are growing jobs, and that's good. At least we're on a slow upward trend, but it is slow. Well, a man named Bill Gross, who's a co-head of a $2 trillion investment management firm. So this guy is pretty rich, and he's got a very successful firm. He says one of the problems is, quote, artificial money, corporate K Street, and Wall Street interests are producing one world for the rich and an entirely different world for the working class. It cannot go on like this, either from the standpoint of the health of the capitalist system itself or the health of individuals and the family. And I really think that's an important point, because that's coming from someone who has benefited greatly from income inequality. But even this is the level of which it is really bothers him. He understands that, hey, this system is not sustainable, this income inequality. Don't be mistaken. The job numbers are encouraging, yes, but it's not enough. It's when you combine this with income inequality, long-term unemployment, and stagnant wages, and of course a broken political system that basically caters to the wealthiest 1%. It's not a good. It's not a good situation. It's not a good situation for the country itself. It's not a good situation for the unemployed, and it's not even a good situation for the rich. And some of those rich people are actually starting to see that and to rail against it. Like, hey, we like having a lot more money, but this income inequality thing, that's not good for anybody in the long term.